Alright everyone, apologies for the poor basically everything at the moment. I realize the quality is a little bit lower. The audio should be slightly better though, which is actually good. But I'm going to launch right into it. I'm using the internal webcam on this. Managed to get that going again after having it disabled forever. Specifically because I'm tired of recording on one computer, moving the files, uploading them on a second. It takes so much longer. This is so much easier. We got to talk first today, though, about Tom Perez, which is he finally decided to climb out of the woodwork again in order to weigh in on politics. It's funny because you basically have an absentee head of the DNC with him, which is he doesn't really actually say that much. He sort of saves himself for a handful of rare situations, I guess, so that the effect of him speaking it'll be more somber and grave and so forth. It doesn't really work though because he says incoherent shit like he's in the wake of the Mueller report, which is the other main political video of the day has to do with the same fucking shit, basically, in a roundabout way. He comes out and says, well, nobody's above the law, not even Trump. And I'm like, oh, like your good friend Hillary Clinton. Yeah, nobody's above the law. Or the DNC, colluding with multinational run media firms or something like that. I suppose what's good for the goose is not good for the gander in his case. It's a little bit hypocritical. That's normal in politics. The funnier part, though, is for him to act like the Democrats, I think, have formulated the following strategy. This appears to be the operative strategy of the Democratic Party. They're trying to gaslight the American public into thinking that the Mueller report doesn't take care of Trump's problems, which it does. Fundamentally, the probe was about collusion. So the specific claim was made based on the Steele dossier that members of the Trump campaign, either Trump or someone close, relatively close to him, colluded with the Russian state in some capacity. That never happened. After 2 years and $30 million, no evidence of that was found. In fact, they found the exact opposite. No collusion occurred. We would have found some tangential evidence of it. We found absolutely nothing. So that's totally out the window. On obstruction, which is sort of the shifted goalpost that the Democrats harangued about for the last couple of months, they didn't find any evidence of that either. They said, well, we can't charge him. There's not enough to charge him with. There's no way that we can do that, and sort of in good conscience. And so you've got this situation where the Democrats said, okay, there's no obstruction and no collusion, so what are we going to do here? Oh, we'll just pretend like the report doesn't really exist, and we'll just sort of go out there and we'll say that Trump is guilty and the report is damning, even though it's not, and we'll just repeat that lie over and over until people fucking believe it, at least the partisans that already support us, because otherwise this is going to blow up in our face like an atom bomb. That appears to be the operative strategy of the Democratic Party. Now, is that surprising? No, not really. It's not particularly surprising that they would try to make lemonade out of lemons or something along those lines. It's still rather telling, though, that there are people that take it seriously. But none of them will read the report themselves. That's the whole thing. See, the problem is the report is hundreds of pages long. Most people don't have that kind of attention span, so they're getting their analysis from elsewhere. So what ends up happening is because there's nothing actually problematic or damning about Trump and his campaign in the report, since basically the Manafort bullshit from 10 years ago was the creme de la creme of actual charges that they could possibly seek. Because of that fact, they said, you know what we'll do? We've got a captive audience, some 20-30% of the U.S. population. It's partisan. They tend to believe whatever we say. So we'll just say that it's not true. We'll just say that the report is damning to him and not give specific examples. The only kind of specific example that we've seen them give in any capacity on this issue is Jeff Sessions being told by Trump, and this is, again, this is more of a claim than it is an actual hard fact. Jeff Sessions being told essentially, to lie to the American people. But it had nothing to do with collusion. It had nothing to do with obstruction. It's not obstruction. In order for there to be obstruction, by the way, wouldn't the probe have to have some solid, rational basis? Like, how can you obstruct an investigation into crimes that clearly didn't occur? It doesn't really make that much sense. There's no evidence of any wrongdoing, so when Tom Perez comes out and says this fucking weird shit, it's just really, really hilarious. I just looked at the time elapsed on here and it said 4:20, so laughing about that. By the way, it's very, very convenient. People got high all day yesterday. Some of them probably are still in a daze right now. Now you get Easter, dinner, so you get the munchies, eat the fucking boiled ham and cabbage and shit, which is what I'll be eating later. And then leftover ham sandwiches for the next couple of days with lots of ketchup, trust me too. And I'm going to take pictures of it and make you all suffer on Twitter. No, Tom Perez, though, he suffers every day because he's reigning over a fractured party. I can understand the dude's stress. I can understand why he wants to be an absentee. He's under constant stress. His party's got severe internal problems. They're running against Trump, which means he's going to constantly get attacked. If he says anything, he gets trolled, basically. They've got the problem of the Mueller report damning the Democrats, actually. And it's very, very funny to see more gaslighting from the legacy media pretending like, oh, well, people are reading different things into it. There's nothing to read into it. There was no collusion. That's the whole point of the Mueller probe. For 2 years, they looked into that. They found nothing. What else is there to say? There's no way to spin it. There's no way to interpret or analyze it other than Trump wins, you fucking lose, Tom Perez is nuts. That's about all.